Who's the band that gets all the chicks? The Tangent! Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott. You are in the Prog Corner. Welcome back to Tangent Week on the channel, where Monday I posted my interview with the great Andy Tillison. Yesterday we reviewed the brand new album To Follow Polaris, and today I'm going to rank all 13 albums from the one and the only Tangent. Oh, I'm excited. But yeah, I get a lot of crazy stuff sent to me. I just want to go through this real quick because this is a lot of fun. A guy named Larry Shore from San Francisco. He's a photographer, and he just sent me some really cool, I don't know what they are, prints or whatever. So I got 7 of them here. If you can, the first person to name all 7 of these faces gets a special prize package from the Prog Corner. Here we go. Number 1. Yeah, that's an easy one. Number 2. Yeah, that's an easy one too. Number 3. Yeah, that's an easy one. How good are these photos though, man? Number 4. Wow, that's good stuff right there. Number 5. Hey, get back here. Number 5. Don't run away from me, sir. Oh, look at that shot. What a great photo of, well, I'm not going to say who. You're going to tell me who. Number 6. Zoom in a little bit onto the face. Okay, that's enough of that. And finally, this was the only hard one. This is the only one I actually wasn't 100% sure on. I guessed right, because I am a huge fan of this band. All right, so if you can name all 7 of those guys, you'll get a special prize package if you're the first one to answer in the comments. Anyway, I just thought that was a lot of fun, and Dude Man sent me those photos, so I wanted to give him a little bit of love, give him a shout out, because that was really cool. I need to frame those and put them up. But today we're talking about the Tangent. Enough about Larry Shore and his photography. We're talking about the great Andy Tillison. This band was formed in 2002 when Andy Tillison was in a band called Parallel or 90 Degrees, and he wanted to do a little side project. Started out as maybe a solo album, but turned into a whole supergroup thing where he had 3 members of Parallel and 90 Degrees, himself, of course, Sam Bain and Guy Manning, joined by 3 members of the Flower Kings, Royna Stalt, Jonas Reingold, and Zoltan Sorge. David Jackson was on the first album. After that, it was Theo Travis. But this thing didn't stay, like a little vanity project for long. It grew its own legs and came to life all on its own and became its own thing, to the point where the Tangent are one of my favorite bands of all time. They put out 13 albums, and we're going to rank all of them. Chronologically, they go like this. In 2003, The Music That Died Alone. 2004, the sophomore album, The World That We Drive Through. 2006, A Place in the Queue. 2008, Not As Good as the Book. 2009, Down and Out in Paris and London. 2011, Calm. 2013, La Sacre de Trouvel. 2015, A Spark in the Ether. 2017, The Slow Rust of Forgotten Machinery. 2018, Proxy. 2020, Auto Reconnaissance. 2022, Songs from the Hard Shoulder. And finally, just coming out in a couple weeks from Andy Tillison, kind of a solo album, but we're calling it the Tangent. To Follow Polaris comes out May 10th on Inside Out. So those are the players. How am I going to rank them? Man, this is hard. The top 5 are really easy, actually, but the bottom 5 are almost impossible because the Tangent have never released a bad record. They're all really good. Maybe the bottom 2, I think, are maybe slightly lower than the rest, but honestly, all of these are 8 out of 10 or better. And I, of course, got an eyelash in my eyeball, which is something that happens on a regular basis around here. You guys are used to it by now, me pawing at my eyeball like an animal. Anyway, at number 13, oh man, this was hard. This was so hard. I'm going with their 11th album, Auto Reconnaissance, at number 13. It was their 11th album. We've got the modern lineup here. So it is Andy Tillison, Luke Machin, Jonas Reingold, Theo Travis, and Steve Roberts. Ed Unitsky did the artwork here. Very cool. But You know, the thing about the Tangent that I love is when I listen to their music, every one of their albums at some point, I get like, I get goosebumps, man, I just get that chicken skin. I get all the feels. This one, I didn't get any of the feels. I really didn't. The best song on here, I think, is Jinxed in Jersey. And to me, it's kind of just a red-haired stepchild to another song that I think was even better, which was the Celluloid Road, you know, talking about America and whatnot. Under Your Spell's good. I do like the lead-off track, Life on Hold. There's a 28-minute song here called Lie Back and Think of England that I like, but man, I'm an epic guy, so it breaks my heart that I don't love it. But, you know, something's got to be at the bottom, and that's it. At number 12, I'm going with their fourth album, Not As Good As The Book, from 2008. A long album. This thing is like 95 minutes long. It doesn't need to be that long. There's not a lot here that I love. Crisis in Midlife is a really, really good opening track. Lost in London 25 Years Later is fun. The title track is good. It features Jocko Jaksic on vocals, which is kind of cool. And then on disc 2, you've got 2 long songs, one of which was an old Parallel or 90 Degrees song, and the full gamut, which I like. But again, the epics just aren't hitting me as hard on here. So the lineup here on this album was Tillison, Rheingold, Guy Manning, Theo Travis, and Jamie Salazar. This was his last album with the band. And Jocko Jaksic plays the guitar and sings on this album too. I just don't love it, man. I don't. I want to love it. But honestly, the rest of these all have moments where, you know, just those moments, come to Buddha moments, I like to call them. At number 11, it's Down and Out in Paris and London from 2009, the band's 5th album. And I do like it better than the 4th album, Not As Good As The Book. And it's a whole different lineup here. So you've got Andy Tillison, Guy Manning, and Theo Travis are joined by ex-Parallel or 90 Degrees guy Jonathan Barrett, and Paul Burgess on drums, who had played with 10cc and Camel and Jethro Tull, I guess. The artwork for this album was done by Andy and his partner Sal, so that's kind of cool. Where Are They Now opens up this album, and it's one dynamite track. I absolutely love it. Just so good here. Andy's playing all the guitar on this album. This is the only album where he plays all the guitar, until the new one where he plays everything. Paroxetine, 20 milligrams, really great. Purdue Dans Paris, great. The Company Car. I like this album. The bonus track, there's a couple bonus tracks. One is the Canterbury Sequence 2, which is good. This is a good album. I really do like it, but man, we're starting to get into some great albums. This top 10 is ridiculous. It just is. At number 10, how do you put an album as good as The World That We Drive Through? At number 10, how good is this band if that's your 10th best album? This was their sophomore album, 2004. It's the last album that has Roy Stolt in the band. The last album was Zoltan Shores on drums, and the last album with Sam Bain. But this album is just cool, man. I really like it, especially that lead-off track, The Winning Game, where you got Roy Stolt singing on that. It's awesome. Skipping the Distance is great. Photosynthesis. The title track's all right, but I really, really do like A Gap in the Night. This is a good album, man. Not as good as the debut, not as good as the third one, but it's a dynamite record, as is number 9 from 2011. It's Calm. I'm going with Calm, their 6th album. Kind of a transitional album for the band, in that you still have Barrett on bass, but you've got a guy named Nick Rickwood on drums. He's a cat that had been touring with Big Country, which is kind of weird. So you got Andy Tillison, Theo Travis, Luke Machin. Was this his first album? Yeah, this is Luke's first album with the band. And then, of course, the aforementioned Jonathan Barrett. This is a weird album cover, too, because you've got both Ed Unitsky and Thomas Everhart both doing artwork, which is cool because they're like 2 of my favorite artists in the modern prog sphere. Wiki Man, so good. Titanic Calls Carpathia. And the shorter songs are great, too. Tech Support Guys, Shoot Them Down, Mind's Eye. Really underrated album. Here's where on the bonus they give you the Watcher of the Skies Fake Me Out cover, which was great. Supposed to be like an old radio broadcast of Yes doing Watcher of the Skies with Peter Gabriel singing or some such ridiculous stuff like that. It was just a tangent. He was just playing with you. But Calm's a good album. At number 8, this is one that might get a little, might be a little controversial, might get a couple people's hackles up, but I'm going with the Slow Rust of Forgotten Machinery here from 2017, the band's 9th album, the only album with Marie-Yves de Gaultier in the band, and ever since she left, the band has actually been very static. Same lineup pretty much all the way through. Still pawing at that eyeball. One of these days I'm going to figure out why maybe I'll super glue my eyelashes onto my eyeballs so this stops happening. For this album, you've got Andy Tillison, Jonas Reingold, Theo Travis, and Luke Matchin. Andy actually, you notice there's no drummer on this album. Andy actually generates all the drum sounds off his keyboard, right? And you really can't tell. It sounds pretty good. I guess he augments that with a few cymbal hits and a few, drums with actual sticks and stuff like that. But primarily 90% of the drums on here is keyboard generated. But I don't care because the songs here are great, man. Two Rope Swings, Dr. Livingston, I presume. Slow Rust is a 22-minute epic that's awesome. Sad Story of Lead and Astatine, cool. But the album is absolutely underpinned and anchored by A Few Steps Down the Wrong Road. What a great track. 17 minutes of just total anarchy. It's fantastic. At number 7, from 2013 is Le Secret des Trouvailles, or The Rights of Work, or whatever like that. Apparently Andy was working on some kind of like Stravinsky Rite of Spring companion piece, and apparently he could not get any kind of authorization for that project from the Stravinsky estate, so he had to kind of abandon that, scrap it. But the bones remain, and you hear this as an orchestral piece where Andy's generating all these orchestral sounds via software, and it sounds really good. If you didn't know any better, you would have figured the Tangent hired a full orchestra for this thing. It's super dense. Like I said, very lush with the orchestrations and whatnot, but a real cool album, a concept album about a cycle, where you wake up in the morning, you drive to work, all that kind of stuff. Andy's obsessed with office culture, so this album definitely right in his wheelhouse. You've got Andy Tillison, Jonas Reingold, Theo Travis, and we've got some guests here, man. Jocko Jaksic is back after, not being on an album. Gavin Harrison's playing drums on this album. Need I say more? And the great David Longdon sings on here. Just a really, really great album. Different movements. Second movement, Journey and Arrival is my favorite, but I really like that third movement, Afternoon Malaise. The fifth movement, Evening TV. Just a really cool record. Totally different from anything else in their discography, and I dig it. At number 6, from 2022, it's Songs from the Hard Shoulder, their 12th album, and this is the album of epics, right? You've got one short song, the 4-minute long Wasted Soul, and the other 4 tracks are all epics, man. You've got The Changes at 17 minutes, and it's beautiful, it's awesome. GPS Vultures, also a 17-minute song, just terrific. But the keeper here is A Lady Tied to the Lamppost. Wow, what a song. What an amazing song. Plastic Bags for Socks. Oh, it's so good. And then you get a little cover of UK's In the Dead of Night. Fantastic. I love this album. So good. At number 5, it's the new one, which comes out in a couple weeks, To Follow Polaris. I adore this thing. It's the 13th album with the Tangent name on there, even though it is just Andy Tillison on all the instruments. And I will put a link at the end of this video to that album review. I don't need to talk a whole lot about it. Just go and watch that video if you want to hear more about To Follow Polaris, because it's really good. Hey, it's number 5. Here we go at number 4, Spark in the Ether from 2015, the band's 8th album, and the very first perfect score I ever gave on the Fire Note when I was writing for them, that music, webzine, whatever. Jonas Reingold, Andy Tillison, Theo Travis, Luke Machin, you know those guys, but who's drumming on this one? Oh, it's Morgan Agron. Oh my goodness gracious. What a marriage made in heaven. Andy Tillison's music with the Kaipa rhythm section, Reingold and Agron, just so good. Morgan Agron's one of the most underrated drummers in the world. I love him. He's not in the Tangent anymore. He's not in Kaipa anymore. He does that Matson Morgan thing. That does him no justice at all. He needs to find himself a new home because he is just incredible. The master of the floor toms, man. I've never heard anybody play toms with that much power and authority. Just so good. The title track, cod pieces and capes, clearing the attic. Oh man, be careful with that axe, Eugene. It's after Eugene. The Cellular Road, which I talked about earlier, just being a phenomenal epic. I absolutely love it. There's a radio edit of the San Francisco section that's so cool. And yeah, I just referenced it at the beginning of this video. Who's the band that gets all the chicks? The Tangent. You're damn right. Oh, it's so good. I love it. At number 3. It is actually A Spark in the Ether was parenthetically known as The Music That Died Alone Part 2. Well, guess what's at number 3? It's The Music That Died Alone Part 1, the debut album from 2003. It's absolutely perfect. Yeah, my top 3, I'm giving a 10. Maybe even the top 4 or 5, I don't know. But these top 3 are absolutely 10 out of 10. It starts out with In Darkest Dreams, which is like the fastest, proggiest thing the Tangent's ever done. Makes you think all kinds of ELP, the Canterbury sequence, you know how Andy is about his love for Canterbury, Uphill From Here, The Music That Died Alone, the Ed Unitsky artwork. What else do you need, man? It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. But shockingly, there are 2 Tangent albums I even like more. At number 2, from 2018, I'm going with Proxy, the band's 10th album. I absolutely adore it. I think it's absolutely perfect. Yeah, this is Tillison, Rheingold, Travis Manchin. Steve Roberts' first gig on drums was this album. And there's 4 songs on this album, and all 4 of them are absolutely amazing. It starts out with the title track, which is incredible. Melting Andalusian Skies, beautiful. The title tells you exactly what it sounds like. Case of Misplaced Optimism is a great little 6-minute track. And then it ends with The Adulthood Lie. This album is perfect, man. This album is everything that Andy wanted it to be. He's got such a cool ear for weird, oddball sounds and music. And he's not afraid to proclaim his love for bands like Jamiroquai or Crass. And it all shows up on Proxy. And then you got the version of Supper's Off on the bonus disc. I do like the old version better off the Sacre de Truville bonus disc, but this one's cool too, so it's nice to have. Anyway, here we go. Number 1. It's my favorite. It's gonna be my favorite. I think this album's absolutely perfect. It's album number 3 from 2006. It's A Place in the Queue, and I was so happy that this thing finally got a vinyl release. First album without Roy Nestalt in the band, so you're thinking, they're not going to be able to do it. Oh, Zoltan's not there anymore. So let's get that other Flower Kings drummer. Let's bring in Jamie Salazar. Oh, and he's so good. You've got Christian Johnson on guitar on this album. Only album he performs on. He, of course, is from Car Mechanic. But this album with the Ed Unitsky artwork and one of my favorite epics of all time starts this album off. It's called In Earnest. Tells the tale of a World War II fighter pilot, you know, drinking in a bar by himself and whatnot. Just incredible. Lost in London. I love it. DIY Surgery. Such a weird song. So cool. So amazing. GPS Culture. One of my favorite songs by them. Follow the Leader. The Sun in My Eyes, kind of telling the story of Andy as a kid. And then, you know, the title track. It's just absolutely perfect. I love it. I love the Tangent. I hope you guys have been enjoying Tangent Week. You know, if you guys like this, I might do this again for another band someday. But I don't know. There's not too many bands I love as much as I love the Tangent. So don't get used to this kind of thing. Tangent Week was probably just a one-off here. And I still got something in my eyeball, and it's still making me mad. Boy, oh boy, I want to reshoot this video, but I'm so lazy. I know I'm not going to, so we're going with it as is. Anyway, punks, this Sunday we are doing the Beatles. Top 10 songs. Are the Beatles prog? Well, I don't know, so I'm going to be ranking their proggiest moments. I think some of my other panel members will probably just, you know, rank their favorite Beatles songs, but, you know, I'm the host of a show called The Prog Corner, so I'm going to keep it prog whenever I can. So for me, it's going to be their 10 proggiest songs, but it's going to be awesome. I'll see you Sunday. And don't forget, Friday at noon Eastern, it's the Prog Corner playlist over there on Prog Radio. So be sure to check that out. Anyway, I love you guys. Peace in the Middle East. Free the Ukraine and God save the King. Save King Chucky. Save him. Save Chucky. He needs your help right now. I'll see you fools. Peace.